Hi everyone, going live. Hope you can join me today. Today we're going to be making this beautiful flower here. This is the flame lily. One of my favourites. I think it's so colourful and vibrant. It's really lovely. Can I just have a little thumbs up? I've got a few people watching. Just so that you can hear me and everything's okay. If you wouldn't mind, that would be great. Just checking now. Hello, yes, you can hear me. Well, you can see me. That's a good sign. That's a good start. We're going to try again. We did this yesterday and it all went wrong. And yesterday I had problems all day with doing technical stuff, so it must have been the weather. But now, hopefully, it's all going to be good. I'm all organised, everything's ready. I hope you're going to be joining me in either making this or you can re-watch the video and then do it afterwards. I'm not using any expensive cutters or veiners. I'm just going to be using a template, which is cut out of a cornflake box, or cereal box, anything really. Even cake boxes, actually. That's a really nice cardboard. And I just want to talk to you about my books. You can hear me and you can see me, that's good. Okay, so my first book that I did with Search Press is Airbrushing on Cakes. Really good if you're a totally beginner and you don't know where to start. This is your book for you. So this gives you step-by-step instructions. I talk a little bit about airbrushing, about the equipment that you need, how to clean it, and then how to do all the basic stuff, which I think is really, really important. Now, I might have a problem with the sun today because it's blasting through. Yesterday it was raining and today it's mega sunny. So, oh, Cassie, hello, there's another Cassie watching. You know, that's an unusual name, so it's quite nice to know there's another Cassie. So here we go, look, there's loads of different things in here. I'm just flicking through this because this isn't the main focus of my day. The main focus is going to be totally on my flowers, but I just want, coming up to Halloween, you see, there's some amazing things in here. And I just want to show you, that's one of my favourites, which is the pumpkin. So this is my first book, which second book, which is Airbrushing on Cakes. And then the third book that I've made is this one, and this is the one that we're focusing on today. So if anyone's got this book, please say so, and if you're enjoying it also, just give us a little comment. I had some lovely comments yesterday on people that have got this book and they're using it. Some people are total beginners, and it's really nice to see that they're finding this book easy to work with. Now in this book, when you open it, it's got all sorts. I start at the very beginning with the introduction, with equipment that you need. Let me just lean out a bit. Basic equipment, how to make your own veiners, and then I talk you through, and it's got very clear step-by-step instructions. Now I'm dyslexic, and for me, I just, reading's a chore, but I would look at the pictures. When I was younger, I was 13 when I started doing cakes, and I used to look at the pictures and then work out the bits in between. But I haven't missed anything out in this book. Everything is step-by-step instructions with all the pictures. So it is my favourite. I'm very, very proud of it. And there's all sorts of beautiful flowers in here. But this is what we're going to be focusing on today. And I want to show you this, because this is going to show you all the components that we need to make the lily. It actually is really, really simple, even though it looks a little bit complex. So we're going to start on that. I'm just checking the time, because I'll start in a couple of minutes. Couple of things I want to run through. Please like and share this video. Please spread it around. This is about learning for me. I'm not making any money on this, but if you can like and share, that would be great, because people are going to learn how to make this beautiful flower, which is really important for me. That's the one we're making, just for those who haven't seen it. Yesterday people had trouble finding me, so I am going to share this video on my page as well, because I know there was a few people panicking last minute saying they couldn't find me. A couple of things to mention. So Search Press, who are my publishers, they are doing, I'm just checking now, they are doing free postage and packaging for anything over £15, which is a very, very good offer. Now it's also their 50th birthday this year. They have got loads of PDF files that you can download. And if you've never come across Search Press before, they're not just about cakes, they're about all crafts. When I was filming the book and we had to walk through the warehouse, it was dangerous because there's so many amazing books on painting, knitting, sewing, you name the craft and I think they've probably got a book that covers it, to be honest. They're amazing. So well worth having a little look on their website and seeing what's there, and all different price ranges as well. So I'm very proud to be one of their authors. So please have a look at that and have a look for the free downloads, because that's really good. It's great that they're giving that away to you. I'm going to talk about other stuff as I go on, because I want to get cracking really and start doing this beautiful flower. So what we need now, the book is the Q Book of Sugar Flowers. I'm actually, I have got, do you know, I quickly looked at the comments and thought that said 60th birthday. And I was thinking, oh, I'm sure it was 50. So I'm going to talk about the different clays that we've got here. But first, before I start, now I'm not using sugar today. The book is the Q Book of Sugar Flowers, but I'm actually going to be using clay, a polymer clay. So I use it in exactly the same way as I do sugar. So when I'm talking to you on how to make this, I will be talking both ways, as if it's sugar or if it's clay. So the first thing I'm going to do is put this on. So just a little bit of cold cream. Only because I've washed my hands several times this morning and I'm already feeling a little bit dry on my hands. Now, you don't have to put this cream into the clay. A lot of people say you do. I never do personally, because I think it makes the clay go a little bit greasy. So don't do that. But the clay, when you're using it a lot, it will dry your hands out a little bit. So it's more a case of looking after your hands than looking after the clay. Now, if you've got one of these boards, one of these green boards here, it's really important that you look after them. So if you're using a lot of sugar, a lot of edible medium, then Trex, wipe the board with your Trex and then wipe it off with tissue. Now if you're using the clay, you can use the cream. Put the cream all over your board. It will what's the word I'm looking for? It will look after it. I can't think of the word, it's gone out of my head. It will look after your board. It will condition it, if you like. That's probably a better word I'm thinking of. So it's well worth putting that on your board, massaging it in, and then just wiping it off with kitchen roll. Great way of looking after your board. And my board, I'm not using my original board today. I've got a bigger one so that you can all see things better. But my original board that I still use now, I've had since I was 13. So these boards last a long time. So look after them when you've got them, really. Never put them in the dishwasher. I've heard a few horror stories about people putting them in the dishwasher. Please don't do that. So the first thing you need to do is get your template. Now let's just go back to the book, because in the back of the book, if you haven't got the cutters, all the templates are here. And let me just double check. That's the one we need right under the template sign. So that's the one we need for this particular flower. So we're going to start by doing that. If people are just tuning in now and you've missed anything, you will be able to re-watch this video. So please don't panic, but I don't want to keep repeating myself. So, okay, so I've cut this out of just a cereal box. So that's my main thing that I'm going to need. Colours. Now, the colours that I've used in the book, some of them are difficult to get hold of now. So I'm trying to get the nearest ones possible or similar. I do like edible art. They are all food dusts, but they work really well. I don't use paint when I'm using the clay. So let me just quickly tell you about the two different types of clay that we use. So there's this one here. This is FMN's Soft Then Strong clay. Now this is really good if you're a card maker, or if you're making embellishments, if you're decorating cards, frames, all of that kind of things, soft furnishings. This is excellent. It's really lightweight. You push it in your moulds, etc. And then it'll look stunning. Now I do make flowers out of this, but it takes a bit of practice. It took me a couple of years to crack this one, so just be aware of that. If you're used to making things in sugar paste and flour paste, then this is probably the one for you. This is Soft Then Strong, and it's more like the flour paste that you use at the edible medium. So this is quite a nice paste to use. So I'm going to be starting using that one. Now when you first open the packet, you get a big block like this. And I'm just going to open it up. Now if anyone is watching and they want to ask questions, please shout. That's what I'm here for. And if you're shy, you can always give me a personal message. Please like and share, but it will be available on my page as well. All my social media is at Cassie Brown Cake, so please have a look at that as well. Just joined, what's the name of the book? The Q Book of Sugar Flowers is the name. And I'm sure Search Press will put a link on there, so how to get to it. It's this one here. That's what we're working with today. So, the clay. Now this clay, the soft then strong clay, it dries, it dries. When you get it out of the packet, it's lovely to work with, really soft and very much like flower paste. But if you don't add white to it, it will go a little bit opaque in colour, a little bit kind of see-through, which is okay for some things, but I don't want it for this particular thing. I can see the sun is blaring through the window. Totally different story yesterday, it was really bad. So I'm using, can you just about see that? Snowflake by Edible Art. So when I open this, this is just a simple white powder. Now you can put paint with this, you can put your acrylic paints in there if you don't use any edible medium. But because I tend to put these on cakes and that kind of thing, I do tend to stick to these. And I know a lot of cake people are going over. I don't want you to think, oh, I'm using clay, I've got to buy all this new equipment and all these new things. I don't, I am using the same colours. So sprinkle a little bit of white, just a little bit. So this is going to take that opaque look off. And then we gently close that. And then we start mixing in. So I am going to tilt you down a little bit so that hopefully you can see my board and everything that I'm doing as well. Right, we always put the lid on top of these. Have to do that because otherwise I spill them and I make an awful mess. I'm well known for it. So we're just mixing it in. So this is instantly going to start looking a little bit whiter. It looks a little bit, I don't want to say dirty, but it is really a little bit dirty without it. So it is nice to add that white, like so. Okay, now what we're going to do is, now because it's air drying clay, I can't stress this enough, if you leave that out on its own, it will start drying instantly. So be aware of that. I'm just using a little baby's lid that I've had for years, and I just pop that over the top and that's enough. You can put it in freezer bags as well, that's totally fine. I just can't stand the rattling of all the freezer bags and the mess really. So I prefer just popping it underneath. I'm putting it there out of the way. So I've now coloured it white and it's ready to use. So I'm going to start talking about wires. Now these are the wires I use. And can I be honest, there's lots of different brands. Yes, these are probably the better brand because they don't unravel when you try and use them. And the work that we're doing is quite fine, so they are quite nice to use. So this is a 28 gauge wire that I'm using. You can use a 30 gauge wire as well. Now I must say to you, in the book it will tell you instructions. I'm quite bad. I use what I've got and I kind of know what I need at the time. Sometimes I don't roll flowers as thick or as thin, so I use a different wire. So please be aware of that. Okay, so Ruth, you're looking forward to this. Good. I hope you learn lots. Now what we're going to do, this is a 28 gauge wire and about just under 1 centimetre I'm going to bend the wire. So I'm going to do this slowly so you can all see. And then I'm going to bend that completely in half. Now what I need to do is get this nail, I'm going to turn it to the side, and I do use my nails for this, and then I bend down. And then I've got, can you see, like a little hockey stick there? So that, or a ski stick, whatever you want to call it. So that's what we need, and this is what I use when I'm making a lot of stamens. For most lilies, I actually make my own stamens. So just again, you can use pliers, and you can use wire cutters or anything that you've got. I just tend to use my fingers because it's easier, and it's quite a light wire, so we haven't got to worry too much. So again, we're bending, we bend in half, and then we bend down. Now can you see that one is open a little bit more, so I just need to squeeze that so that it's nice and tight, and that's it. It's really simple. So we need 6 of those. Now I've done a little prep and I've already done these, so I'm not going to make 6 of them. I've done them all ready for you so that we're ready to go. So a little bit of paste. Now the secret with this, a lot of people struggle to twiddle their paste down the wire. I'm very technical, aren't I? Twiddling. Is that in the dictionary, I wonder? So what we're going to do, we're going to roll a ball. Now this is about the size of a pea. Don't need anything bigger. If you use anything bigger, you're going to get into a big mess. So just be aware. Now I'm going to get my wire. I'm rolling into a sausage. In fact, I've got way too much paste there. But we're going to push the wire in to the middle, like so. Okay? I am going to get rid of some of that paste. There's a ridiculous amount. I've just halved it. Okay? We're going to push up to just under about a centimetre. And then with my finger, I'm going to do a rolling action like so. So we're going to roll, and as I'm rolling, the paste is actually moving up the wire and getting thinner at the same time. So like I said to you, please like and share this video. I want as many people as possible to know how to make these beautiful flowers, because they are lovely. Can you see I'm working my way up? We're going right up to the top. Now don't worry if you have a bit of excess paste there, just break it off and then we keep going. Now what I'm doing, because I've gone right to the top, I'm going to start coming down. So now we start coming down. I'm still rolling, but we get a little bit thicker as we roll down. Can you see? Now it's looking very bumpy at the minute. Please don't worry about that. We'll go and smooth all that off. Now I'm going to break it off about there. Now I'm doing this with my eye, but obviously you won't know where to break it off, so I'll show you how to measure. We get our template, and what we do is we're looking at about halfway up our template is the length that you need your stamens. So once we've done that, we can put it on the edge of our board, and then if I just gently roll, that's just going to smooth it out right to the edge there. That just smooths it out and makes it a lovely finish. So there we are. That's half of our stamen done. Now we need to do the bit on the end, which again, really simple. So we just get a little bit of paste. Now this time it's even smaller. Hope you can all see that. Tiny piece of paste. And I'm going to roll it into like a very small Tic Tac shape. So just roll it like so. Just putting that paste away again. Now what we're going to do is, oh, can't pick it up. I'm going to hold the paste and the wire, and I'm gently pushing. Oh, it doesn't want to work. Tell you what, because it's quite a warm day today, so I'm going to put a little bit of water on it. So let me just screw that up again, because it'll have indents on there. So please don't be shy and ask questions if you need to know anything. Now I'm going to just run a little bit of water. That's all I use. I don't use glue. I don't use any of these other things they say you must use. This isn't an expensive hobby actually. If ever you do take this up, it's actually wonderful fun. So I'm just squeezing that on now. Can you see? Now squeeze the ends. Make sure you can't see the wire so that it's not going to fall off anywhere. And then what we're going to do is we're going to get our wheel, and I'm just running a line up the centre. I don't know whether you can see that or not, but just right at the very centre, just a nice little line, and that's done. We need 6 of those. Okay, so you need to make 6 of those. Now once that's done, I'm going to do the colouring all in one go, so I'm going to move on now and do the petals. Now to do the petals, we're going to have to do a bit more colouring, I'm afraid, but not much. So I'm going to be using, this is Sunflower by Edible Art. Just tap it down before you unscrew it, because I find a lot of the colour sits around the top. It can get a bit messy. So again, can you see how I always mix the paste together as well if it's been sitting for a little while? Now I'm just going to dab that in there. Can you see there's just a little bit on the end there? And then I actually fold that in and start mixing. Now we don't want this to be a bright yellow. I want it to be quite pale. So if it does go too dark, then we can always add a little bit more white. So I never panic about that. And you can see it as well, which is quite good. Okay, we put that to one side. Just looking, I think that'll be fine. So a nice pale yellow we need. That's the colour we're after. So what we're going to do now, I will mention actually at this point, just because I'm starting to get my tools out to just start my work, because I'm doing this for Search Press, I've decided to do a special offer on my website. So I've got to change it because yesterday it was until Friday. I'm now going to make it until Saturday night. So from now until Saturday night, there's a 20% discount off of my tools only. So this is one of my tool sets with all my tools in, and the other tool set is here, and that's the ball tools that I use. So, and I've just had a delivery of these, which I'm very excited about. So, and for this particular flower, we need the rolling pin, and I'm going to take out the tweezers for those. So lots of really good tools that I use all the time. With my little kits, I don't need anything else apart from the wire cutters, so it's really good. But yes, 20% off. When you order either or both together, you get 20% off, which is quite a lot. So but I'm only doing that until Saturday night, and it's only because I'm doing this Search Press demonstration for you. So we start with the yellow. Now again, don't use too much paste. I think that's the biggest problem a lot of people have, is they use way too much paste and it just goes everywhere. So I'm rolling the sausage, little fat sausage, look, and then I'm pressing down like so. So that's my sausage. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to take the rolling pin. Now have you noticed it's a thin rolling pin? The bigger rolling pins, which I have here, they're no good for this because you can't get a nice thin groove. So please invest in a little rolling pin, it's well worth it. So what we're going to do, I start in the middle, press down and then out. Now I make sure it's not sticking. Because it's hot, I'm going to add cornflour. And then I'm doing the same, press down and then roll out. And can you see that ridge starting to appear right in the centre? Now I'm going to go to the top and roll up. Now if we look at our template, we need that ridge to go just under halfway up our template, if that makes sense to everyone. I'm quite worried there's not many viewers. I think people are still trying to find this video. But as I say, please like and share it so that people can see what we're doing, because it's really good to share this kind of knowledge. And I am doing this as if I'm doing a live class, so I'm telling you everything. Some of my Facebook lives I skip through quite quickly, but I'm really making sure you've got all the details, just like the book, so it's really important. So can you see that's going thinner now, and that's got that ridge right up the centre. So we're going to go close to that ridge, and I'm really pressing down now, I'm going thin. Now the reason I do like my green board is because I can actually see through when I'm going really thin, which for me is a must. And I'm rolling up, so you can see how that's taking shape. Now the one thing I forgot to mention is this little bit here is slightly thicker. That's my little sleeve that I just pick up and move. It's really important to have that. So yeah, and if anyone's made any flowers out of the book as well, please share them on my Facebook page, and I'm sure on Search Press Facebook page, because it's lovely to see. The book takes a long time to put everything together, and then all of a sudden it's out there and you kind of lose it. It's gone. Your little baby's gone that you spent so much time making. So it's lovely to see comments and of people that have made the flowers, and it's still going strong at the moment. Lots of people send me stuff, so it's wonderful to see. So with the template now, cornflour on the top and on the bottom, and then I'm going to hold the template over. Now don't press too much because you're going to squash your little ridge. Forgotten what it was called then. And I've had my coffee this morning, so I should be alive. So, and then this wheel, it's like a pizza wheel. We just simply go around. And there we have our leaf cut out. So excess, never leave it around. So before I deal with my petal, I always make sure the excess is put under a little tub and out of the way. So I'm going to use the same wire, 28 gauge wire for this as well. Now we need 6 of these. I'm only going to make 1, but you're going to make 6. Now what we're going to do, and this is the bit a lot of people struggle with, we're going to put hold the petal, and with the thick edge I'm holding it close and I'm gently pushing the wire into the little stem there, look. So we're gently pushing it in. Now normally with this finger and thumb I would be pushing the ridge flat. With this particular flower I don't, and it will become clear very shortly why I don't. But so we push that in. Can you see it's just under halfway? And then I squeeze a little bit. And then that's in, that's secure. I don't use water or edible glue on the wires. If I do, it all comes out the top and I end up in a big gooey mess. I don't make things complicated. You don't need it. It tends to stick to itself, so it's fine. So I am just getting my foam mat, which is this one here. Now what we're going to do, and again, you can use a ball tool for this. I am using the end of my rolling pin because this is a 3-in-1 rolling pin, so just this end here. If you were going to vein this, then I would vein it now. And a nice veiner is the Tulip veiner by Squire's Kitchen. I'm not using it because I just want to show you that you don't need all the expensive equipment to actually make beautiful flowers. You can do it very easily with the things you've already got. So what we're going to do now, this is going to be half on the paste and half on the foam mat, so in between the two. And I'm gently pressing down. And then this is going to start creating that lovely ripple. It just thins the edges. Turn it round and do the other side. This really makes it come alive. There we are. Nice and simple. We don't do too much to it, but straight away that gives it a bit of life, which is really good. Then what we're going to do, I'll get the tweezers, I've forgotten where I put them then. So with the tweezers, in my tool set, I didn't explain, there's 2 different types of tweezers. The larger set of tweezers are for doing your flower arrangements and they've got teeth at the end, so they grip the wires and you can move them. Now this particular one, which is the smaller one, that one hasn't, and they're all branded, they're all good quality and they're all branded with my name. But these ones, there's no teeth. So you're going to get this now and squeeze the ridge. So we're making this as part of the flower. Can you see that? Maybe just about. There it is. So there's a nice ridge going up the centre. And then what we do is simply fold it in half. So it takes a bit of getting used to around that top piece because there's a lot of paste there. And then simply fold it all the way down. Now I'm trying to fold it nice and neat as best I can. So nice and neat all the way to the tip, like so. Then what we do is open it up slightly, and then that is your petal. How simple was that? Now the most important thing is leaving it to dry. There's a couple of things you can do. You can use the smaller rolling pin and you can pop that there. But what I found yesterday when I was doing this is, can you see how it just keeps flopping? So I've got my bigger rolling pin. And again, this rolling pin I've had for years. What's it say? To use one of the groove boards. Yes, so one thing I didn't mention is if you are struggling to get the wires in, you don't have to do it like I've done it. You can use the groove boards, you can get grooved rolling pins as well. I think because I was taught to do it this method, I've tried the groove boards and I've tried all these wonderful gadgets that keep coming out onto the market and I just can't get on with them. So this is the way I do. But yeah, as long as that petal is on that wire, I'm happy. It's thumbs up. So what we're going to do, can you see, lean it so that it's just like that, nicely curled over, and leave to dry. That wasn't complicated, was it? So I'm going to put that to one side and leave to dry. Oh, now one thing I didn't mention, I'm going to just show you. Sometimes that looks a bit uncomfortable, so I bend the wires here so that it actually sits a bit better, because you'll find if someone knocks the table and the rolling pin moves, it's not going to fall off. I'm talking from experience having kids that run around and they're constantly knocking the table and then they all fall off and then you're like, oh no. So just get that there out of the way. Okay, so all our components are actually made now. It's the fun part of colouring and putting it all together. I'm just looking for my kitchen roll. Oh, there it is, it's underneath there. There we go. So, kitchen paper, really important. Now I'm using 3 different colours. I am using Orchid White by Edible Art. I am using Spice Ginger by Edible Art. And I'm using Scarlet by Edible Art. So those are the 3 new colours I'm introducing. Don't forget we also use Sunflower as well. So those are the colours that we need. It works easier for me. So I'm just looking at your name. Yeah, do whatever works for you. As long as that, when I'm teaching classes, as long as that petal or leaf is on that wire, I don't care how you've got there. As long as it works for you and it looks neat and tidy, I'm happy. So you have got to do what works best for you. Now I've got 2 brushes. Look at the state of that one. Awful. I do need new brushes. But my daughter's told me I'm not allowed to buy any new pens, any books or any brushes because I have a bit of an obsession. Can't help myself. So I'm bringing over my petals because these are already nice and dry. So we're going to dust those up, and I'm also bringing over my petals, my stamens that I've done. Now we need 6 of those, remember, as well. So 6 stamens, 6 petals. We're going to put those down. So what we're going to do first, let's move those out of the way. We're going to use the Orchid White. Now this is a lovely colour. It's called Orchid White because if you are making orchids and you want them to be white, lovely to give just that little hint of colour right in the centre. So it's a really nice colour. So I'm just going to move that to one side. And then I'm simply brushing that up the centre of there. So turn it over to both sides. Make sure it's all covered. Just make sure I haven't missed any bits. Orchid White, Spice Ginger, Scarlet was the other one. Orchid White, Spice Ginger, Scarlet and Sunflower. Those were the colours you needed. So we can, so some of the colours may vary, as I say, because obviously different brands are difficult to get a hold of sometimes. But Edible Art, they're the staple diet, shall we say, of cake decorators. They don't go anywhere. They're always there. They're always very, very helpful. And did you know, if you're making bridal bouquets or any type of special things, they will actually match colours for you. So you can send them a little swatch of ribbon and they will make the colour up to match your ribbon. So if anybody out there is doing bridal bouquets or they want a specific colour to match, then Edible Art are the place to go. They are really, really good. When I used to make my wedding cakes, that's what I used to do, because I offered a very, very bespoke service and everything was to match. So all the bouquets and flowers, everything all matched. So we're just doing these stems. Last one now. Like so. Okay, so always put the lid on. Never risk putting that to one side without the lid. You end up in an awful mess. So now I'm going to use the Spice Ginger, which is a lovely colour, and this is just for the stamens right on the end. So we're just dabbing the colour on, back and front, and make sure you're not white on the top either. So there we are, look, there's our coloured stamens. So again, remember we need 6 of those. So it's nice and easy. This flower, it looks stunning, but when you actually make it and put it together, it's one of those you go, oh, is that it? Is that it? Is it really that simple? Same as the passion flower, actually. That looks very complicated and you think, oh no, I'm never going to do that. But when you start making it and looking at the elements that you put together, it's actually quite quick and simple. That's one of my private classes that I'm going to be putting up very soon, is how to dissect flowers and make them from real. Because it's actually quite simple. It's just knowing how, which is really important. So also I've got a Patreon site if you want to log on to that. Any of my Facebook lives I always put on Patreon as well. So they'll always be available. So when they're deleted off Facebook, they'll always be on Patreon. So you haven't got to worry about losing them. Right, so that's all my stamens. We put those to one side. Now we're going to start doing the petals. The 2 colours I need are the Scarlet and the Sunflower. So I'm just checking time. We're all right for time. So I open both of those. If I put the lids upside down, you might be able to see those lids on there as well. So now what I'm going to start doing using the same brush, I'm just cleaning it a little bit on the tissue. If you do want to clean your dusting brushes, a little bit of cornflour and then just wipe in your hand, and that will take all the colour out of the brush. That's a little hint for you. So what we're doing to start with is just a little bit of the sunflower yellow, and we're dusting it right at the centre. So remember the bit that we squeezed with the, can you see that? Nice vibrant colour. And I'm going to do a little bit on the back as well, so that it's to match. And then I'm using a large flat brush. I'm saying large, it's actually a size 6. It's not that big. It's less than a centimetre. Now we get the colour. I'm just getting this ready. From the Netherlands, hello, thank you for joining. In fact, I haven't asked anybody where they're from today. I must do that. I always like to know where you're from. I'm really nosy. It's great to know people are watching from all over the world. So what we're doing, I'm starting at the end, and then what we're going to do, I'm going to say just over halfway, I'm going to start coming down to the centre. And then the same with the other side. So can you see that now? We've got that nice V shape there. And I'm going to turn over and do the other side, exactly the same. A bit more colour. So exactly the same, and follow that same line that you've just done, that nice V shape. Now in the cake decorating world, we always say you should never blow because of hygiene. But this is clay and you're not going to eat this. So there's our petal. Look at that. It already starts to look exotic, doesn't it? So we're going to put that to one side, and we're going to do the rest of them. So I'm going to speed up now and do these a little bit quicker. So always remember to do this V, because sometimes when you're trying to do it quick, you can misplace it. So please remember to do this V. And if you are liking this video, please look at my Patreon page. It's Patreon.com/Cassie Brown. If you go onto there, I do lots of videos and tutorials. I'm just building it up at the moment, but there will be lots of videos and tutorials. There's already a few things on there that I've done. And I didn't do the yellow, so quick little burst of yellow as well. Sometimes I'll do all of one colour and then all of another. And then that's our next petal done. Put that to one side, and we keep going. Yeah, so please have a look at my Patreon page. I'm just building that up, and it's going to be very much about what you guys want to see on there, which I'm quite excited about actually. And it's not just going to be cake, I'm going to be doing all sorts of crafts. I love doing crocheting, I love doing sketches, paintings and all that kind of thing, and as well as the airbrushing that I'm doing. I'm just in the middle of filming an airbrushing course to go on there actually. And if anyone subscribes to my Patreon for 12 months, then I am doing a wonderful demonstration day totally free of charge, which is where you come along, you meet us, there'll be people there you can learn from, so I'm quite excited about that. That's all I'm doing it for really, just the party. Party at the end. Right, quick blow. Now some people steam their flowers. I personally don't, and it is personal preference I think. People say that when you steam it, it seals the colour, but I've steamed mine and I've had colour come out many, many years ago, so I just don't bother now. I find that it works well just doing this. I don't have colour dropping off anywhere, but because this is an air drying clay, you can actually get sprays, like a matte spray that you spray over it and it will seal all the colour in. So if you're giving it away as a gift or a present, you know that the colour's not going to come off. They're going to be able to clean it and dust it, and you know it's all going to be sealed and lovely for them. So it's quite nice to do. Right, we're nearly there. 2 more to do, and then we will start taping up. So I hope you agree that this is actually quite an easy thing to do once we get going. I'm still quite surprised we haven't got many viewers, but I think that's because nobody can find me. People get used to me doing it on my Facebook page, but I am going to slow down doing those quite a lot now, and concentrate on trying to earn money actually, rather than doing so much for free. So a lot more will be done on my Patreon page instead. Now I have got a private community on Facebook. It's called Cassie Brown's Creative Community. Please pop along and like and join. And that's for all different types of crafts as well, not just cake. So lots of people on there making lots of different things. There we are, the last one. So the last one now, I do the yellow. Pop that yellow one, remember, right in the centre, going up. And then at the back, going up. And then we do this lovely red. And it is a beautiful, beautiful red. I think it really makes the flower. So we do this nice and neat, going across, top and bottom. So remember what I said, Search Book have got that wonderful offer of free downloads because it's their 50th birthday. So please pop along, the links are in the comments and you can pop along and have a good look. If there's any questions that I've missed, I will go back. So please don't think I'm ignoring anybody. I'm just really trying to concentrate on showing everybody what I'm making. So there we are. Right, leaves are all done. So now we're going to put lids on, otherwise it goes everywhere. And then what we're doing, I'm just folding that piece of paper, well it's kitchen roll, and then putting it away. If I don't, it goes everywhere, which I don't want. So now the exciting bit, which is taping up. Now this is a light green Florist tape, and I am just having a look. I can't read that, sorry. My eyes have just gone all watery. My son had his exam results today, so I'm quite excited. Quite emotional today. Bless him, he's doing very well. So what I'm going to do is just trim that so we have a flat top to our tape. And then with the scissors, I'm actually going to cut down 3 times. Sorry, cut down twice so that I have 3 little notches there. In fact, I'm going to cut a little bit more. Try and get them roughly the same. The scissors don't want to work. There we are. So can you see you've got 3 little notches. Now, cornflour's involved because I'm going to stretch to release the glue on all of these. And then I actually want to twiddle one at a time. So, and you can do this individually if you prefer. If you find it easier to cut the tape in half and then twiddle 3 long bits and then tape them together, that is also fine. Do what you prefer. There's no right or wrong way of doing this. I always say as long as the end result looks good, then we're happy. So we're twiddling these, and then the last one. Can you see how they're going? Then we twiddle the last one. It doesn't want to go. Sometimes the tape won't want to twist. That's better. A little bit of cornflour makes all the difference. And I actually forgot to get a... no, did I? No. I forgot to get a stronger wire out. So I'm good. I'd normally use about a 24 gauge wire. But because I forgot to get it out today, I'm using a 28 gauge wire. And I'm actually going to fold it in half. So we're going to use this wire instead. Fold it in half and squeeze like so. Now we're going to introduce that to the tape. So we have 3 little, like dreadlocks, stretch to release that glue. And then I'm putting the wire right up against and starting to twiddle this round. So those 3 little bits are actually above the tape, if that makes sense. Now I'm just twiddling, and can you see how they've attached to the top? And we just need to tape all the way down now. So again, a little bit of cornflour, and I stretch to release the glue, and then I twiddle using the finger and the thumb. And we come all the way down, like so. There we are. So that's our wire. That's a good start. Now what I'm going to do is gently bend those. So these are going to be right in the top. Can you see that? And then I'm also going to come about 2 inches down and bend again. And just gently bend it. Can you see tiny, tiny bend there? Okay, so once we've done that, we need to take a little piece of paste Now I am going to use the yellow that I've previously used, but I'm going to colour it. Now this time I'm using the green, just about, there's a bit in there. Do you know, I've had this tub for so long, but it keeps going. So we're colouring this green. So you can use the same colours and just mix and match, that's absolutely fine. So we just mix that up nicely. Like so. You can see that's turning green now. And with the yellow base it actually works quite nicely. I'm going to go a little bit darker. We don't want to go too dark, just a little bit darker. And I'm doing it over the container so that all the little bits of dust fall in. So like I said, please like and share this video. And I'm going to be looking at my list in a minute to make sure I've covered everything. Hopefully I have. So we're going to put the lid on that again. Like I said, out of the way. And then we roll into a circle. And then into a kind of tic-tac shape. Like so. Then we're going to get our wire. And I'm going to push up the centre of our wire. Can you see that going on? And then push all the way to that little crank there. Now what we need to do, I'm using 3 fingers and I'm actually wanting to push to seal at the top. Can you see? So I'm making it more sealed and joined right at the top there. And then I'm going to come down, and it's a little bit too big at the minute. So I'm actually going to break a little bit off. Can you see that? I'm going to get rid of that bit down there. And then I'm going to make it into that kind of seed shape. Like so. Just make sure it hasn't come loose at the top when you've tried doing that. And then with our wheel, and there's 2 different size wheels on here, I'm using the smaller one now. You need to just gradually indent. And I'm doing this 6 times. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 1 more in the middle will make your 6. That's it. Again, make sure that's nice and joined, and that's ready for the stamens to be added. Now this time, with my tape, I want half width. So I'm actually going to cut it in half. You can buy tape already cut in half as well if you prefer, but I'm simply cutting in half, like so. And we go all the way down. We don't need lots, just enough. Okay, now what we're going to do, we have our stamens. Now when you look at your stamens, I always say get it looking at you and then bend it towards you, so it makes that shape. And you do need to do this with all of them, so make sure your stamen's looking at you and then bend it towards you. And just do this quickly with all of them. Remember, you've got 6 stamens. I've done this before when I'm teaching. I look at it thinking that doesn't look right, it's because I've lost a stamen. Or when I was doing this yesterday, I can't tell you how many times the stamens fell on the floor. So, and then I'm going to introduce them. Now we're going to start taping up right down here. So get it as close as you can. And then I'm going to get the tape. And I'm just going to attach the first one so that that's definitely stuck on there. And then we're ready to go. So now we gradually put the rest of them around. So 1, 2, and we put them right next to each other as we're taping around. Now you might find it easier to do 3 and then add another 3, that's absolutely fine as well. There's no right or wrong way of doing this. I always say do what works for you, it's really important. And then room for another 2. Now they will try and cross over a little bit, which is fine. We just move them out of the way. Now at the moment, I'm not bothered about what you can see. I'm bothered about this bit right underneath here, trying to get that really neat and tight. So make sure that's really neat and tight at the top, and then we just tape all the way down. And we keep going, like so, till we get to the bottom. So that's nice and easy. And then what we're doing, I look at the top and I'm just going to twiddle these bend them around a little bit more so that they're kind of even, if you like. That's it. And I do want them up quite tight at the moment, ready to introduce the next bits, which are the petals. So with the petals, really important, again I'm using my thumbnail and I bend right close so that that's a lovely shape there. And we need to do this with all of them. So I'm just doing this first. It's easier if you do this now before you start putting all the petals on. So work our way around. And then we're ready to introduce them. Again, right underneath, right close. I'm going to get my tape, oops, which is sticking to me rather than itself. So if it does do that, remember cornflour is the secret. I'm going to do the same as what I did before. So I'm anchoring that first one on. I'm just putting cornflour on my hands there. And then we go round, introducing everyone. Now, you haven't got to wire the same way as me. Do what works for you normally. Some people work left to right, right to left. Doesn't matter, it's all fine. As long as it's working for you and those petals are being attached, it's fine. So I'm, as you can see, quite close. And at the moment, I know it doesn't look like the lily, but it will. And then the last one, just make sure you have counted 6 petals. So I'm just moving them up a little bit out of the way because I want to make sure I'm really tight up the top here. And then I start moving down. So again, I'm stretching to release the glue. Cornflour if needed, and that's if it's sticking to you rather than itself. And then we work down. Now this evening I have got a class, if anyone's interested. It's with Cake International, it's called the Learning Hub, and I will be making these here, which is the daisy, again out of my book, and the scabious flower. So that's what I'm going to be teaching tonight. I've already done a little video on there with templates and things, so if anyone wants to buy that, head over to Cake International, to their website. So I'm going to take all the way down, keep going. I'm going to break it off there. I have got a few wires I haven't covered, but then I'm just going to cut that off completely. Always make sure it's nice and neat and do it as you go. So at the moment it looks a mess. So now this is the best bit because this is where all of a sudden it turns into the flower we're making. So all of these petals now are coming back onto themselves. Can you see straight away it's starting to look really good. So we come right down. We're covering, can you see quite a lot of the wire here? And then we can start moving these out to make that beautiful flower. And look at that, all done. Hope you enjoyed that. Hope that was simple. Hope it was easy for you to understand and see. I have tried to do it the same way as I explain it in the book, so it's all step-by-step instructions, all nice and simple. Please like and share this video, share it wherever you can. Please remember to look on SearchPress website for free downloads, and also please remember my offer as well. So remember the toolkits, only the toolkits have 20% off, and that's till Saturday night. So pop along to my website, cassiebrown.com, and I'm doing the special offer just in conjunction with this. So please like and share this video because it hasn't got many views, and I know people are, I'm going to come offline now and I'm going to have messages going, where are you? I can't find you. So I'm going to like and share this. And you've just ordered the airbrushing book, fab. So if you want to become one of my patrons, I'm going to be doing a lot more tutorials on airbrushing as well because that's my second passion. And I do love airbrushing the flowers as well. But a lot of people haven't got airbrushes yet, so this is why I do it like this. So there we are. That is my flower. So I'm going to put this next to this one. Don't they just look stunning? And you know what? You don't need many on a cake, do you, to look amazing. They're going to be really stunning. I mean, 3 of those with some big leaves, that's all you need. Your cake's done. Or your flower arrangement. These would be an amazing gift for somebody. Especially at the moment if they're feeling a bit down. This would really brighten up their day. So, I hope you've all enjoyed it. I hope I've covered everything. Go to SearchPress website. Go to my website, cassiebrown.com. Follow us on social media. At SearchPress. and at Cassie Brown Cake. I have to think about my own. And I look forward to seeing you in the future. I hope you've enjoyed it, and thank you very much for tuning in. Bye.